Hi, I'm Shannon Watkins, and I am here today with the Chancellor of North Carolina State University, Randy Woodson. Chancellor Woodson is the 14th Chancellor of NC State. Before coming to NC State, Chancellor Woodson served as Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs at Purdue University in Indiana. Chancellor Woodson is a plant molecular biologist specializing in reproductive processes in agricultural crops. Chancellor Woodson, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Shannon.
All right, so to get started, my first question, in your view, what is the primary purpose of higher education and how does NC State pursue that mission?
Yeah, I believe the primary purpose of higher education is to move the economy of the country forward and to move the country forward by having an educated workforce and a civilly engaged workforce. And NC State, of course, is a land grant university. So we were founded with the specific mission of really meeting the practical needs of the country in fields like agriculture and engineering. So in addition to the broader mission of higher education, NC State has always been a university about the needs of the state of North Carolina, particularly as it relates to those practical and applied disciplines like engineering, textiles, and agriculture, but underpinned with a strong liberal arts education.
Thank you. And what are your biggest goals for NC State after COVID-19?
Oh, well, they're the same goals before and during, which is to serve our mission to the people in North Carolina. So our goals as a university really haven't changed during the pandemic. They've been impacted by the pandemic, and I'll be happy to talk more about that. But our goals really, we have a new strategic plan. We've just completed, I've been here I'm in my 12th year as chancellor. So we've concluded the first 10-year plan under my leadership, and we're now getting ready to launch a second plan, which is really focused on the success of our students, making sure that our students are ready for the workforce, making sure that the university is responding to the needs of the state. Shannon, you and I both have been reading about all the new economic development deals in North Carolina and the growing industry here. And a lot of those industries like Google and Apple and Fujifilm, Dynasynth, and others are areas where NC State needs to deliver a workforce that's prepared to go to work in computer science and engineering and biotechnology. So our goals are really to make sure that we're continue to produce graduates that are ready to contribute to our economic vitality as a state.
Great, thank you. So students are back on campus now after, for many, not being on campus for a year. How's the transition from online to in-person been so far?
Well, it's had, there's a fair amount of apprehension. Everyone's reading the paper. We all know what's going on with the Delta variant, and we know that their cases are very high in North Carolina and hospitalization is high. So there's a lot of concern, but having said that, our students are very excited to be back on campus, and they are adhering to our community standards, making sure that they do everything they can to protect one another. And so far, so good. I mean, we certainly are having cases, so I don't want to suggest to you that we don't have challenges, but we're testing about 2,500 students and faculty and staff every day. That gives us a good sense of where the virus is on campus, get those people isolated and quarantined as quickly as possible. And that's the best way for us to move forward, in addition to the vaccine that science has delivered for this country, and a lot of members of our community are choosing to take it.
Thank you. So Centennial Campus is comprised of a lot of non-academic buildings, many occupied by for-profit business. What is your vision for all this real estate property, and how does it contribute to NC State's mission?
Well, let me start by reminding your readers and viewers that Centennial Campus was transferred to the university by two separate governors, a Democrat and a Republican. So it started with Governor Jim Hunt, and actually a larger piece of property was transferred that's now Centennial Campus from Jim Martin. So your namesake, the center, was a big part of contributing to creation of Centennial Campus. So from the beginning, the university was given this land or assigned this land. We don't own it. It's owned by the state of North Carolina, but was transferred to the university with the explicit understanding that it would be built out both as an academic campus and as a research and development enterprise for the private sector through public-private partnerships. The best way for me to describe it is there's over almost 5 million square feet of space on Centennial Campus, and only 2 million of it is owned by the university. The rest is privately held and occupied by over 75 companies that have over 4,000 employees that work on our campus every day and contribute to the economy of the state and hire our graduates, provide internship opportunities for our undergraduates, and collaborate with our faculty for research. So it really is a think and do mentality associated with the university that Centennial Campus brings it to life.
Thank you.
So our vision, I'm sorry, I stopped short. The vision for the future is really its continued development, both as an academic center and as a commercial center for research intensive organizations that are, companies like ABB, the power electronics company that collaborates with our electrical engineering department, or LexisNexis, which has their computer scientists here that collaborate with our computer science and psychology department and others. So it's just continued movement forward to make sure that we're building it out to contribute to the university and the economic vitality of the region.
Thank you. The university's NC State has made progress in ensuring that free expression and thought are allowed to flourish. NC State, for example, has a green light, a free speech green light rating from the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education. But there's still room for improvement. Has the university considered endorsing a statement in favor of free speech, such as the Chicago Principles?
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly sure where we stand on the Chicago Principles, but I can tell you we have a very visible presence on our website and among our students and faculty and staff on our position on promoting free speech and making sure that that we give every opportunity for groups to be on campus that may have differing views from one another, and that they're able to provide information and have free speech that's uninterrupted and not, I can't guarantee it won't be interrupted, but I can promise you that we'll do everything we can to make sure people have the right to speak. And if you look across our recent history, we've had every imaginable group here on campus that that not everyone agrees with, but they have every right to express their opinions. I think academic universities should be a bastion of free speech. I mean, we should be the above all others, perhaps, the place where we can enter into civil discourse about the matters that are important to our country and to our world, and do so in a way where people have full right to express their opinions and can do so without being interrupted consistently and constantly as they speak. And we work hard to make sure that that continues on our campus. And I think that's why we have a green light.
That's fantastic. Just going off of what you just said, so some students will come on campus and not be aware of really what free speech is or what the university's stance is regarding free speech. So what are the ways the university, what steps does the university take in safeguarding and ensuring students understand?
That's a very good point. Well, one of the things that we do for all new students is we have orientation, and we do everything we can to make sure that they're prepared to be successful at NC State. And we point them to the resources on our website. We point them to our free speech policy. We point them to what it means to have civil discourse, and also what academic freedom means, the ability of our faculty to do their work. And you know, I'm always reminded, look, I'm not a big philosopher. I do have a doctorate in philosophy, but it's in plant biology. So I'd never consider myself a philosopher, but I can play one occasionally. And Aristotle had a quote that I really love, which is, the mark of an educated mind is a willingness to entertain an idea without necessarily accepting it. And we want our students to be critical thinkers and to take in information as a student, but also come to their own conclusions about their position relative to issues that they're discussing and debating in class. So academic freedom and free expression is a hallmark of a successful university, in my view.
That's great to hear. NC State is a leader in agriculture education, textiles, business, and natural resources. I'm curious, how has your background as a plant molecular biologist helped you to lead the university?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you look back on a career and you think about what you thought you were going to do and what you wind up doing. I can promise you, I never thought I would be a chancellor or a university president. You know, I went to college to be a farmer because I loved growing plants. I got excited about science and became a scientist and a professor and loved teaching and doing research. And the next thing I knew, I was a college administrator. So if the honest answer to your question is, I don't use my knowledge of plant molecular biology every day as a chancellor, but I do use my experience as a faculty member and my experience as a dean and the things that I've learned in leading universities to be what hopefully is an effective chancellor. So if you ask a faculty member what they want in a leader, they more often than not will say someone that's had to be successful doing what they do, teaching and doing research and carrying out the service that university faculty are expected to do. And so I think the credibility that having been a professor and having been a successful scientist in a university setting may have empowered me or enabled me to be a chancellor. But really, most of the skills that I use every day as a chancellor are really things that I learned growing up in a wonderful household with great parents that helped me learn how to treat other people.
Great, thank you. Chancellor Woodson, those are all my questions. Again, I appreciate you taking the time for speaking with me today. I'm sure our readers and our viewers will be excited to hear what you have to say.
I hope so. It's good to be with you.
Thank you.